Andy, step up.
Let's go. First off, preparing to defend Cade Tyson. Going to be a challenge for Devin. I imagine you'll help try and give different looks. Just a 3-level scorer. What do you see from him, and what will be the challenge there?
Yeah, I mean, really efficient scorer, and 3-level scorer. I think his motor off the ball is really good. They run some really good action to create advantages for him. He's even posting the ball some. So going to the offensive glass, he's playing at a really high level. Been really impressed with what we've seen from him on tape.
As big a game as John had, Devin, it's been a pretty good stretch of play from him here too, and finding his offense really the last few weeks there at the small forward position. How have you seen him continue to grow throughout the year? Where has he taken strides?
Well, I think his taking care of the ball and creating for others has gotten better. We believe in his shooting. I know he's been shooting it well lately. But I think for him, the game just seems to be slowing down a little bit, and that's good. And I like what he's been doing on the glass, really both sides of the ball. His rebounding's been good. So it's just, I think the maturation of a player who's had to make an adjustment and, changing positions. And while he's doing that, it's a new team and we're doing some things differently offensively. So I think because he's a really good player, because he works really hard, it's why we're seeing the consistency and the level at which he's consistent be so good.
Well, since we talked to you 36 hours ago or so, what has Puff been able to do? I know he's here now, but what has he been able to do? What have you seen from him so far? What have the last 36 hours been like? Yeah,
we've gotten a chance to work him out a couple times. We're evaluating, almost it's really a daily evaluation as to when he's going to be ready to play in a game. And our medical performance team is at the forefront of that. We're blessed to have great resources to monitor a lot of different things. So, there's kind of two things, right? There's him physically being ready to play in a game, and then there's him within this how we play and learning what we're doing and things, being ready to play in a game. So he's working really hard at both to be ready as quickly as possible. I don't know when that's going to be quite yet, but I can tell you we've at least gotten started and started working on it.
When he is fully available, whenever that is, or even partially available and he can get out there, like what can he do? Like, how do you see him fitting into this team? How do his skills fit into what you want to do this season?
Yeah, well, I think it starts on the defensive side. He's got an ability to guard multiple positions. He's got good positional size. He has familiarity with this conference, and he's shown an ability to rebound. So all of those things are really good. And you look at, he's been a guy who's had some decent steal numbers in the last 2 years as well, which is an area we got to continue to get better in. So defensively, I think that's kind of where it starts. And then offensively, if you look at what he's been able to do throughout his career, even while he was at Penn State, he played with a really good guard. So he's got some comfortability with that. He can play multiple positions, which, we lost a multiple position guy in Brandon, so, that helps. And because of his experience, because of his basketball IQ, I think, we anticipate him being somewhat of a guy who blends, is a blender on the court, a guy who adds to, what already is a really good chemistry this team has. So he's got to certainly play to his strengths, cutting, rebounding, catch and shoot threes, driving and scoring, but also within what we're doing. You can't just come in and do your own thing, which he won't because of the type of young man he is and the type of IQ he has.
Joke after the game that he said he's in shape. He said you feel like you're in shape too. What kind of shape is he in?
He's in better shape than me. Yeah, we can at least confirm that.
What kind of bar is that? We're not sure these days.
Yeah, let's not go too far down that road. I think the thing we got to check is game shape. And when you're playing up and down multiple possessions against live bodies, that's a different impact than just running up and down with no defense. So that's what we're in the process of evaluating. But yeah, listen, he's a guy who's wanted this and been preparing for this, but there's just a different type of game shape And I don't know yet. But as far as the baseline, I feel good about where he's at. Yeah.
So do you think he'll be on the court tomorrow night?
No. Do not anticipate him being on the court tomorrow night. Yeah.
Since you guys got back into Big Ten play, it's been win one, loss one, win one, loss one. How do you build momentum in a conference like this where, as you've talked about, it's about as tough as anybody you're going to play?
Yeah, I think it's what everybody's fighting for, right? And there's a lot of factors that go into it. Certainly injuries can play a role. Home, road could play a role. I think for us, we just focus on the task at hand. And, we certainly evaluated things we did well, things we needed to do better against UCLA, and quickly turned the page to Minnesota. And, each game, although we are fighting to get some momentum and you want to string together wins, all of that's really important. For us, you can't rely on what you did to do it, right? You can't either way. So we just got to give Minnesota, like we have every team, give them our full attention and commit, the time and effort necessary to best set you up to play well. That's what we do. And I'm really proud of the way this team is prepared because they haven't gotten too high or too low. We've handled in-game adversity well. Certainly times we needed to handle it better. But I think that's ultimately what you got to do. You got to come out. We're doing a better job of setting the tone, kind of playing with a better mentality to start games. That was an issue for us for a few games. We've kind of course corrected there. That's been really encouraging. Thought we had more stretches against UCLA of high level play. It's going to take those and more against a Minnesota team that's, you look at their last 5-6 games, they're playing really well. A couple ranked wins, down to the wire, on the road. So really good team. Lot of respect for them, certainly. Big opportunity. Like I've said, it's a big opportunity for us tomorrow night.
About good things in the Washington game, especially injuries being accounted for. I don't know if momentum is the right word there, but can that help, even though you lose the game and you don't like that, but can that be stuff to build on that can help when we're talking about, trying to stack wins and things going forward?
I think for a couple individuals, there was some opportunity to build off that. For us as a team, like there's no moral victory, right? But a couple individuals got some good game film to say like, hey, I did some good things and hopefully build on some confidence. As far as our team goes, it was, hey, yep, we got dealt some adversity in the flow of the game, handled it well for stretches, didn't handle as well as we needed to down the stretch. Like we got to own that, wasn't good enough. Got to get ready for the next one, and that's what we did. I think it's important not to let, you're fighting for momentum. You also can't let one game cost you momentum, and I felt like we did a good job with that.
One of the things I noticed the other day, kind of along what he was asking about Devin Royal, is he seems to be taking on more and more of a leadership role and directing, talking to his teammates about while free throws are being shot or whatever, of what's coming and whatever. Do you see him? I don't want to say this. He seemed like he used to be a follower, and now he's being more of a leader. Is that a proper way to look at it?
Well, I think you're right. He has stepped up in a leadership role. I think our team, in general, UCLA game was the best we've been in that regard. Our timeouts, the conversation, player to player. We talk a lot about player-to-player communication and how important it is. Certainly, you have to, let's say, encourage guys to do it while play is stopped, while they're off the court. We've had some good, like Bruce has been really good in timeouts. Gabe's had a voice in some timeouts. Devin has stepped up in timeouts. But what we're seeing now as the season has progressed is we're seeing real time, like stoppage of play, ball goes out of bounds, we're seeing more player-to-player communicate. Like that's the stuff we've been fighting for as a staff to get more of, and we're starting to see more and more of it, and I don't think it's an accident. That was the most connected I felt like our team had been in between the lines. And Devin's voice was certainly a factor in that. There's no question.
On the West Coast games and even before that, it looked and felt like he was taking command with the ball, and maybe on the wing, getting into the lane and getting good shot opportunities and these kind of things, that he wasn't kind of laying back anymore. Like, he was being a little bit more aggressive about seeking his offense and finding ways to help the team. Is that something that you've noticed as well, encouraged him to do, to, hey, don't wait around. If you see an avenue, go get 2 points or whatever? Is that something that you've talked to him about?
Yeah, I think he's bought into just the collective mentality of this group where we got to be in attack mode. And, I think the game is starting to slow down for him a little bit. He's got a lot of experience for a young player so far this season, but he is still very much a young player. And I like the aggressiveness he's playing with. All his decisions haven't been great, but he's making more good ones than not. And I think he's got an ability with just the way he plays. He has an ability within game to create some real momentum. And we don't certainly want him taking a back seat or playing on his heels or hesitating, because it prevents those type of momentum changing plays from happening. So I think he's done a really good job navigating things so far this season, and because of, like I've said, because of how he approaches each day and his mentality, I have no reason to believe he's not going to continue to get better and better.
Kristoff's status for Saturday was uncertain. He ended up playing 32 minutes. Just how was he feeling after the game, and is he good to go tomorrow?
Yeah, I think he was feeling good, and he's good to go. Yeah, well, unless something changed between me going from here to practice. But he was with us yesterday, and yeah, we just, I think, because of how important he is to this team, we had to be very, very cautious, certainly for him and for us, to get him back on the court, make sure he was fully ready. And then once he was, there was, leading into the game, I didn't know exactly what that was going to look like. We leaned on our medical team for that stuff. But when they said, yep, he's ready, then it was go time. And just talking to him during the game, hey, you need one, you need an extra break here, how you feeling, that kind of stuff. So I didn't get anything different from him. So we just kind of kept it going business as usual. And that's the plan moving forward.
And then your team played a lot of zone defense on Saturday. Was that just matchup based because of you were playing UCLA, or is that something that you like moving forward?
Yeah, listen, I think for this team, being able to change defenses and having two different defenses that you're confident in is a good thing. When you look at how good this league is, how good the players are, how good the coaching is, if you give a team a straight dose of the same thing for the whole game, they're going to figure out some holes. So being able to do some different things as far as change maybe the flow of a game, and we got strategies certainly for when we used it. I think there were times maybe we could have gotten out of it a possession or two earlier, or vice versa. But yeah, without going into all those details, I think we felt like it was a good strategy for that game. And changing defenses, how much we do each one is a little more game to game specific, but we do want to show changing defenses.
Coach Beck here. After the West Coast trip, you guys had an electric atmosphere on Sunday with the crowd. Another opportunity at home tomorrow. How excited are you guys for this opportunity and within the home crowd?
Yeah, it's great to be home. I certainly think the energy and the shot played a factor in, maybe being able to stretch some good possessions into another good or two. I think our guys were flying around the court. That was great. So we certainly, it was great to have the Nut House back. I think that certainly plays a role. But yeah, we need the same thing for tomorrow night. Again, really good team. It's a very important Big Ten game and opportunity. So we need to keep building that same home court environment that we experience, when we travel. And I get it. We have the biggest venue, so that presents challenges. But man, when there's Buckeye fans in the building, the passion and energy that we have, I think rivals any fan base in the country. So we had a great number in there, and they were loud, and we felt it. It was really good.
Tom, I wanted to follow up on what you were talking with Steve about the communication in the huddle, the level it's been at. I'm not someone who's ever been in a basketball huddle during a timeout. Can you take me into some of the intricacies of how that works when you're maybe trying to draw up plays, give talks, but then other players are talking and have things to say? Like, how does that all function?
Yeah. I think at times it may feel like organized chaos. I think other times, I actually listen. I enjoy. Let me say this. I think the best teams are player led. My experience as a player, through all my years of coaching, I think your best teams are player led. Part of your job as a head coach is to create a space for your players to lead, and in all the things you're doing in the course of a season, one of the most important things you do is help develop the leadership of that team. It's something we've had to really work on the last couple of years, is developing the leadership within our team. Mostly from a vocal standpoint. Bruce is maybe the best lead by example guy you could possibly have. He's become a really good vocal leader. That wasn't always the case. It wasn't always a strength of his, And so in timeouts, maybe I'm having a conversation with our staff and I walk into a timeout and Bruce is got the board or he's talking to guys. I'll just sit there and kind of allow him to finish. Or if another guy, now if we got 4 guys talking at the same time, I step in and say, all right, everybody listen up. So I think it's different for each moment. But I love when our guys are talking, because even if they're maybe holding each other accountable, it's all because they care so much about winning, and we need more of it. We've been fighting for it. We talk about it. We've practiced. We've done everything we can to try to build it, and it's getting better. So I think you just got to kind of, read the room a little bit when you walk into the huddle. Now, sometimes, depending on the circumstance of said huddle, you got to start talking right away because you maybe called a timeout that you weren't happy you saw something, right, or whatever. But I love it when our guys are communicating. We got multiple voices. Really, we haven't had multiple voices maybe in the same game at the level we did against UCLA. It was really encouraging. Gary can maybe get you in the next game, fill in, and
I can't shoot.
come stand on a. I don't know. We kind of go by position where guys are supposed to. I don't know what position you would be behind the guys, but
I'm 5'9", so I guess point guard.
All right, there you go.
As far as Kristoff goes, just away from the court, like, he's a guy that's seen the world. He's been around a bit. Like, as you've gotten to know him, how has some of that maybe shaped or influenced like his personality, or just like what he's like when you're having a conversation with him?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's so mature for a college-aged, guy. You can talk to him like an adult, and he's got a great personality. Has a joy about him. I think one of the reasons he came here, certainly there was an opportunity that we were able to, I think show and map out, and but there was an element of trust that had to be had because we're doing some things differently this year than we did last year, and ultimately, I think in talking to him when he first got here, the relationship that was able to be established was critical for him when he made a decision. And so, part of that, we were able to do that, and our staff did a good job certainly in doing it, but he and I were able to build that because he's just really easy to talk to. And you can have grown-up conversations, whether that's about basketball, about life, and you learn about his experiences. It's really interesting. So just a all-around really impressive young man, and is a great fit for what we're about culturally. So I enjoy, whether it's us going to breakfast or us working out together, I just enjoy the time, that we spend.
It's named to the top 100 high major assistant coaches list. I think it was last week, and Joel and Jamal. What have they meant to this team? How important have they been to what you're trying to build here? How critical are they on your staff?
Yeah, they're absolutely critical. And, we really, one of the things I love about this staff, and listen, when you become a head coach for the first time, there aren't a lot of guarantees. You're guaranteed not to bat 1,000, right? Like you're guaranteed to make some mistakes. One of the things that I think, that I've took a great deal of just I don't know if pride's the right word, but just one of the things that was most important to me was surround myself with a high level staff and putting a staff together that has great chemistry. Because I can even look back when I was a player, and as a player, you can feel when maybe your staff isn't aligned. We've had that for both years. And I think, there was a leap of faith from those guys to come join me here. And there had to be a alignment and understanding as to what we're working towards and what we're fighting to build. So, I think those two guys have helped pave the way, as we're building this program. And to be on the staff, you got to work extremely hard and you got to work well with others. And those two guys are great examples of that. Obviously, tons of experience, elite recruiters. I mean, go down the list of the I guess, qualifications maybe people are looking for, but just great people. And they care a ton and have helped me personally, as have the rest of the staff. So I'm believe me, when I on my prayer list, certainly one of the things I'm most thankful for is the group of men that are in this program, and how they're working to help push this program to get it back to where we want it. And we're getting there. We're moving in the right direction, and those two guys are playing a big part of it. All right. Thanks, guys.